Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming back to our next community meeting in relation to the fire that is spread quite considerably now. We'll start with some acknowledgements and introductions, particularly not just to those in the room but also those online. And a big thank you I will start with to everybody who listened and acted from our messaging on Thursday. It was really gratifying to see that people did listen to what we had to say, made some very good decisions, and as a result of that, we have a really good outcome compared to what it really could have been after yesterday's weather. Just in relation to who's with us here today in the room, we acknowledge our Cindy McLeish and Wendy Lovell MP. Thank you very much for joining us. We're joined by councillors and representatives from Mitchell, Murrindindi, Strathbogie and Mansfield Shires. And just a reminder, as I said on Thursday, a really big thank you to each of those local government areas for coming together so well as a united team to support our communities. We've got representatives from AusNet, from EPA, from AgVic, from Ambulance Victoria, Goulburn Valley Water, Victoria Police. All of those people we consider our emergency management partners, and they have been an integral part of our incident management and emergency management team structures over the last 3 days and continuing into the future. We also have with us today Incident Controller Jono Hill. Jono has come down to us from Hawkesbury, New South Wales with his team to help us out. Very experienced operator. His team, blended with some locals, will look after this firefight going forward for the next few days, both during the day, and we've got a night team coming in as well. And for reference, the Incident Control Centre for this fire has transitioned across to Seymour. And the reason it's done that is ease of access for people and services, and it will allow us in Alexandra to concentrate on the restoration of services and return of community members. So that's a real key focus for us. For those who are unaware, we stayed in there yesterday as the fire approached. We worked that centre through yesterday when the fire front passed. It was a conscious decision to be there to make sure that we were as close as possible to what was going on, particularly after we'd asked hospitals and aged care facilities to shelter in place. We decided that we needed to be there as well to understand the immediacy of the impact that was going on. So that was a big step that we did, an important one, and we believe the right one. What I would like to do is start by giving you a little bit of an update. Then what we'll cover off is, I guess, some specifics about where to from here. What are our next steps? How do we make sure that we can get people returned back to their premises at the earliest possible but safe opportunity? We'll cover that off. We'll hear from our council representatives. AgVic are with us, AusNet are with us, AV's got some really clear health messaging they want to provide. Then there'll be an opportunity for some questions, and at the end of it, as we did last time, if there's questions that would like to be asked that you'd prefer to ask us in person rather than in a public forum, the people here representing the organisation supporting you will be around to take those questions. If we can start off with the map behind me. If you recall, Thursday night I showed you a small hatched area followed by a big red blob. That is now the hatched area, so that's where that was Thursday night. What you're seeing now is the purple. That's the run that this fire took yesterday and into this morning. That is significant growth. That is a fire of 136,000 hectares. That's a big patch of ground. What I can tell you in amongst that is the amount of saves that we've had of people's houses. Some have gone, but so many more have been saved. Good effort from the yellow team, good effort from the green team, massive effort from everybody, including yourselves. because we could concentrate on stopping a fire before it got to your premises, because if you'd already gone, we didn't have to worry about getting you out of the way of the fire. So thank you again for listening to what we said to you on Thursday night. So the spread of the fire, we had a predicted impact zone map. It behaved pretty much as we anticipated. It grew a little bit larger. There was some adjusted maps put through with some weather conditions changing on Friday. You can see there quite significant impact across a range of towns. That map shows the burnt area. What it doesn't show is the areas of saves, the communities that have been circled and untouched. And they're the good news stories that we will tell going forward. You look at the impact around significant centres, the township protection plans, the locality protection plans that we spoke about 2 days ago, worked. And they worked well. Our next step from here is really, really critical. First thing we're going to do is continue to manage this firefight. Some really good news is that the west side of this fire, down the southern end, is reasonably secure. The next 7 days of moderated weather conditions give us a strong belief of being able to hold that part of it. Right now, as we speak, the top northwest corner of that fire is misbehaving and is causing us some challenges, and we are actively fighting it. We're not out of the woods in the southeast corner either. I think I said northeast, I meant Longwood. And up there is starting to hurt. We've had some good saves around Eildon, we've had some good saves around Alexandra. We have had some critical infrastructure impacts. That's an important point, I'll come back to that, which makes it interesting for us, because what we want to do is when we get people back into the community, we want to be able to provide functionality, connectivity that allows you to function as you normally would. So, the next steps from here. Step one, continue to control this fire. We have started, you remember on Thursday I said no control? We have got control over parts of this fire. We've still got it spreading in some areas, so it's not contained in particular parts of the areas of this fire. We will continue to work through that. Concurrently, our next priorities are roads and relief. Relief's a big package of services. We'll come back to that. The road network is really, really critical for us, as it is for you. We need to open that up at our earliest possible safe opportunity. To do that, we need to do a road assessment, not just of the surface of the road, but of the trees alongside the road. Because the last thing anybody wants is, after we've gone through that, to open a road too soon and have a tree fall on a community member, block the road, or worse. And I will take people back to lessons learnt from history, different fires. In 2009, there was a rapid opening of a road, and 40 minutes later we had to close it again because a tree fell on a car. Now, we were very fortunate it fell on the bonnet of the car and not the cabin of the car. Lessons learnt from the past may delay the return, but they will be delayed for the right reason. And it's not a massive delay, but it could be another 12 or 24 hours for us to do that, because we will do it, and we will do it to make sure that we can tell you you're going back into a safe area. So, assessment, road clearing, reopening. They're the three steps. The assessment and the road clearing, really, really important to allow access for yourselves and for the services that support you, and the restoration of critical infrastructure. And whether that be power, and Osned will talk to us later about where we're up to with that, whether that be water, whether it be telecommunications towers, that we managed to keep going on generator power even though it was difficult to get fuel to them, to make sure that we've got capability back in your communities as you return to the premises. That is our intention. So really, really current requirement to do that. The step in between that to help us to understand what we need to do to help you is twofold. The first one is we need your feedback through the centre and through the services of what it is that you need to be supported in your return. Pardon me. And we'll also do an impact assessment about what's happened while we're doing the road clearance as well. So it's a collective effort. We'll do an assessment. We'll provide that information. We will start to work out what it is we need. But we also need to hear from yourselves about some of those things, because we do this a bit and we've got an idea of most of the things, but we don't know it all. And we really value your feedback and your contribution and your suggestions about those things that we might be able to do to help. And we'll factor those into our plans and we'll get them done at our earliest opportunity. So that's where we are. That's what Jono and the team are working on for the next number of days. The absolute priority, continue to attempt to control the spread and contain the spread and control the fire. The road assessment, the road clearance, the road opening, the impact assessment, the provision of relief services and the return of communities. So that's the stepped process, and it's not a long process, but it is a thorough process, and we will do it safely. Unfortunately, I did hear a comment this morning that if you take too long, we're just going to go around it. Please consider that behaviour. Understand that we are doing our best to keep you safe. We have a thorough process, a solid process. Please let us do it. It's another one of those times to make good decisions, folks. We're asking you to do something to give us a chance in a stepped process. Just a little bit of patience might be the difference between we know better, we'll go round. And if you're trapped in behind somewhere that we can't get to you because you've done something that's other than what we're planning to do together, we could find ourselves in a position where it's difficult to get help to you. So the consequential actions of those decisions need to be considered, please. And like I said the other day, make good decisions. Yeah? All right. If you've got some questions, as I said, we'll cover them at the end. That's really the focus areas that we need to cover. Jono, anything else from an operational perspective? You're right, thank you. All right, we'll move now to just a quick update from each of our municipalities, our local governments. We do have relief centres, and there's 5 of them, 6 of them now operating. So Seymour here, obviously, Lilydale High School, Whittlesea Civic Centre at South Morang, Mansfield Sports Complex, Benalla Town Hall, and then we've got the ability and capability to store animals at a number of locations, including but not limited to the Whittlesea Showgrounds, Euroa Sale Yards, and we know that Mansfield's got that offer for us already at the showgrounds. The council representatives will provide an update as to what they're doing to assist you through this process. They are a key partner in our emergency management processes, and we look forward to their updates as we go through. And we'll start with the representative from the Murrindindi Shire, thanks, if they could come forward and say a few words.
Thanks. I'm actually Claire Hewitt-Kennedy. I'm the Acting and Deputy Mayor for Shire of Strathbogie. First of all, I want to say probably the reason I'm talking first is I've been on the ground here for the last few days. I just want to say up front, now's not the time to be tough. The stuff that we've seen walk in the last few days has broken my heart, and I'm sure it's broken a lot of people's hearts, but I can guarantee you, you are not in this alone. Take that, if nothing else. All of these people that are here to help save your life and the lives of the people you love, your livestock, your property. Do not put their lives at risk. Your best friend has to be the Vic Emergency app and the Vic Roads app. Don't be complacent because you had an update an hour ago. If for some reason you haven't got access to the app, let us know. Ring the Vic Emergency hotline and get in contact. We will get the information to you. When you come through this door, I want you to understand it's the consequence or the result of 3 councils coming together, working with all levels of government. Today and the days moving forward and the few days past is not about politics, decisions. It's got nothing to do with it and no one cares. What we care about is you and us and our kids and our livestock. But we care about the people. We can rebuild buildings, but we cannot rebuild families and people. So don't be complacent with decisions. Make really clear decisions and very smart decisions. As I always tell my 3 adult children, I'm still waiting for them to do that, but that's another issue. I just want to say Longwood and Ruffy have been really... I mean, there's lots of areas of ours that have been affected, and we've got people here from Highlands, from Terep that, you know, they've from all over the place. I don't want to single out any place, but the families that have come through these doors in the last 3 days that have lost a lot, or you've lost your car with everything in it, or you've lost, you don't know what you've lost because you haven't been able to get back, and that's the reality. Don't put yourself at risk to go back to save what may not be there, and if it is there, you might be putting yourself in danger to get there. So I want to reinforce that. I want to shout out to the Premier and to the Treasurer that came today. Thank you for announcing the funding. We were pushing for that on day 1. It was announced on day 3. It's not going to stop there, and we are not going to stop pushing. We are going to get what our regional communities deserve. I can promise you that. I'm going nowhere, and our council is going to continue to work with Murrindindi, with, I'm going to say it wrong, Tawong. Did I say it right? Oh, good. Mansfield and Mitchell and all the other councils. But those 4 councils have been, and obviously Mitchell have played a huge part in providing this service, and I thank John and his team and Mary in facilitating that. None of this stuff happens without us just putting stuff to one side and getting on with it. But where the really important message is, don't take your life for granted. Don't take the lives of others for granted. These are all volunteers that have families at home that put themselves at risk to make sure you're okay. So please be really careful. If in doubt, ask them. Ask us. Don't make a move to go home if you haven't got the go-ahead. It's not okay. The last thing I will say is I've heard some dreadful stories, horrendous stories, and I'm no stranger to fire, but I want to say the most magnificent thing I've seen is the way that everyone has worked together of all different levels, and we've just got on with it. And we've processed people within an hour of being in this centre. They've got access to the emergency funding relief, and we've got them accommodation, and we've sorted their pets, and we've got the nurse getting them the medication. That's what happens when we put everything else to one side and we work for the good of our community. So that's what we're all here to do, and the only way we can do better is you tell us. We want to know the feedback. If we haven't got coverage in Longwood and Nagambie at the moment, it's very up and down. I know that for sure. We need to make sure we're telling the responsible people for that critical infrastructure that's been affected, water, power, telecommunications, been affected everywhere. We need to know exactly where. If you've got livestock that need to be rehoused, do that. Tell us. Come and say, Claire, I need your help at X. Send me a pin of where it is and we'll get it sorted. I can't fix everything, but with all these people around us, we're going to do our bloody best. All right? Stay safe, and just don't make any silly decisions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor You at Kennedy. I'm Livia Bonazzi, CEO of Murrindindi Shire Council. I'm here today because our mayor is actively fighting fires, and I'd just like to acknowledge how stressful a time this is. Every corner of Murrindindi Shire has been impacted either directly or indirectly by these horrific fires, and we have a lot of people displaced. It's still, as we have heard, an evolving and an ever-changing event. I do like to acknowledge and thank the people who have sought to evacuate. That has made life easier. Unfortunately, as you know, there have been a lot of houses and livelihoods lost. We still don't have an accurate number. It's not safe to do the preliminary assessments. So it will take some time before we actually have some accurate data. We are hearing through the grapevine about particular properties lost. This is heartbreaking, especially considering some of the firefighters who were out there putting their lives at risk to save lives and houses, lost their own houses. This is a very emotional time for us all. But I'd just like to second the words of our colleagues. We have been working collaboratively, very successfully. I'd like to acknowledge as well, we've been in touch with the local members of parliament, federal senators, the Premier, the Minister for Emergency Services. We have advocated for support. We feel very supported. We feel that people actually are getting the story. We are out there trying to represent our communities. I'd like to also acknowledge that I've just come from Murrindindi. There was no internet and no phones. So I acknowledge that perhaps a lot of the people in our community are not able to watch this live stream. So it will be recorded and it will be made available on our socials. It is not safe to have any relief centres in Murrindindi. That's why they have been set up here in Seymour and across the adjoining municipalities. So I acknowledge that our displaced people also have to travel. There might be questions, why are we not able to support them in situ? The situation is still unstable. It's not safe for us to do so, but our teams are working around the clock to support the emergency services in this response. We are also planning for the recovery. This is going to be a long journey of recovery, and we will accept gracefully any support from other agencies, from state government, from federal government. We will want to have the funding and the support and the relief centres, as well as the hubs, set up very quickly. We cannot afford to have uncertainty. And so rest assured that we are here to advocate for you, and do come to us as well. I've been able to field some phone calls as well from residents and farmers who've had to leave. The properties have been devastated. Livestock, we don't know if they're fine or not. Livestock may have survived. They actually desperately need food. So we've been advocating for, because it's not safe. The roads haven't been opened yet. There are still trees alight. And so we asked if it's possible for CFA to escort our farmers through to provide food for the livestock and to understand the extent of the damage. So I know that a lot of community wants to help, and we are very grateful for the office to volunteer and to donate. I'd like to advise people that Give It is the organisation that is going to be coordinating donations and any support. So please consider Give It. We have also sought support from the council, the Victorian Council of Churches and the Red Cross. So as soon as it is safe to do so, council will also open our own customer service centres. A lot of our council staff have been individually impacted as well, so we're trying to work remotely. we're not able to staff the centres. As soon as it's safe to do so, we will provide that support on the ground as well. And I believe that also here at the Seymour Centre, people are able to provide donation to the Salvation Army, and so they're able to accept goods. So I do thank all of the respondents and acknowledge the efforts and working around the clock. The control centre, the incident control centre had to be shifted from Alexandra today. So that's also been moved away. And as you know, communications and internet has been patchy. So it's just not possible to have a reliable control centre in Alexandra. So we've had reports of houses lost across different areas, Main Tungoon, Yark, around Alexandra, Rennies Hill, Acheron, Molesworth. It is devastating. We still don't know the extent. But our community has shown, again, so much generosity and so much willingness to support one another. And this is what our communities does best, very resilient, supporting one another. People are recognizing that you can rebuild houses, but you can't rebuild lives. And I'm very grateful that human lives have been spared. So I'll be sticking around. We do have staff at the relief centres, Murrindindi. Please come and tell us what it is that you need. We'll do our best to deliver. And please continue to follow the app, the alerts, and look out for one another and reach out if you need anything. Thank you.
Good evening. Councillor John Dougal. I am the Mayor of Mitchellshire. I would like to say that we all should take the advice of the professionals. Now, you heard that a number of times tonight, but it's incredibly important. So all of the emergency services teams, they're trained, they're professionals, volunteers, but they have experience and they are there to serve and protect. Very important that we follow their advice. And for Greg, who's over there, I've known Greg for a long time, just a little bit, but over a long period of time. Now, on Thursday night, Greg provided messaging and information to the community that was very succinct, very direct, and really quite brutal. But it had an impact, in my view, because it helped people get to the point that they made better decisions to protect themselves, their family, and those are the things that matter. So, Greg, I think you and the team that stood behind you probably saved lives, and I think the community should be very grateful for the way you handled that on Thursday night. So well done. This emergency relief centre has been open for a few days now, and there's some very familiar faces who've been here for 48, nearly 72 hours. I can see some of them right there. Now, they have come here because this relief centre has shelter, it's safe, we've got capacity. As many people that need to come here are welcome. You can get food. There is access to services. If you have pets, please bring them. There's a range of ways that we can help. The reason it has worked, and I'd be very surprised if there's anybody who's come here for support that has lodged a complaint, because they've all been very positive about the work here. But the reason for that is the attitude of the staff and all of the agencies and authorities that have combined their efforts to help you. It's the attitude that has made a difference. So I would like to thank our team, which has really driven the Emergency Relief Centre, but also Strathbogie and Murrindindi for the joint nature of the way this has come together. I know that we have helped a lot of people, and that help has come at a time when they are most vulnerable. And if that has meant nothing other than companionship and being able to share a story at a time of grief, then that's still hugely beneficial. But Department of Family, Fairness and about 300 people in attendance. It had about 1,800 people who listened in live, and it was viewed subsequently by about 75,000 people. So what does that tell you? It tells you that our community is incredibly desperate to receive good information and advice to help them protect their family. So again, I think that meeting had a great impact, and I suspect the numbers for this evening will be similar. I would also like to say that we had a visit today by the Premier of Victoria, by the Treasurer, Jacqueline Symes, and by Vicky Ward, the Emergency Services Minister. That's great. They came up to Seymour. They spoke with all of the agencies that were here. They spoke with all of the people that have been affected, and they got to hear some of the stories. That will have an impact on them understanding the need and the need to be responsive when it comes to what we do as we approach that recovery phase. So thank you to the Premier and her team for visiting. Comms and coordination now become the key words. So please, find out information. The comms are there. We are doing our best to provide information, but you must keep working hard to make sure you get the information that you need. In terms of coordination, the relationship between the three shires here, Murrindindi, Strathbogie and Mitchell, has been fantastic. It has been very much a joint effort. We have been well supported by a whole range of agencies, and that will continue. We know that the best way that we can help the community to get through the immediate danger and then into the recovery is if those arms of government do their bit. Not bureaucracy, but genuine cooperation and partnership to get the resources where they are needed. So please tell us what the needs are, and we will actively seek to push that. And thank you, Claire, for making that point extremely clearly. Our role, if I can sum it up, is to connect your needs with the resources that we can extract and make available. Simple as that. The next period is going to be frustrating, and there's going to be a degree of uncertainty. Some of that can be solved. Push hard to find the information you need. A lot is available, and if you can't find it, ask. And if you can't get it again, ask more. Continue to ask until you get the information you need. Keep chasing perseverance. So it's been a demanding 2 days. This centre has worked really well, and I'm very, very pleased that we've been able to help a lot of people. So thankful for the cooperation we've received, but I suspect that the hard work is only just starting, and we need your help to understand the needs so that we can best match that to the resources that we can make available. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much to our representatives. I think if we can summarise that really simply, it's you're not alone. We're in it together. We'll hear now from Agriculture Victoria leads with us today. We recognise a significant farming population. We recognise the impact of stock, and we've brought Agriculture Vic along to really give us an update on where that's at. Thanks, Lee. Hold on, help coming.
Hi everyone. Thank you for coming today. We do know there are massive impacts on livestock and horses in the impacted area, and we also recognise the massive toll that that takes on all of our people as well, so community and responders. We are working with the Incident Control Centre to get access, and we're hopefully aiming for our veterinary teams to get into some areas of the fire ground tomorrow. We just really need to make sure that that's safe for them to access first. We do need to know who needs help. So help with assessing burnt animals and also humane euthanasia is a priority. So please call in. The people online can hopefully see this on their screens, but please call in on the Vic Emergency Hotline, which is 1800 226 226, and then dial 0 and then the number 3 to get to the recovery area. And those people can take a record of what your needs are. We also have an online form if that's easier to fill in. You only have to fill in the critical bits now, you won't know everything. And that form can be found on our website, which is agriculture.vic.gov.au/bushfires. That page also has links to multiple information sheets on assessing burnt animals, burial, things to do with recovery and other considerations that you might need help with. We'll also be calling people to get information. So please, if you could make sure that your contact details for your property identification code are up to date, and make sure that all of the parcels of land that you have are updated on that. The link to update those are in that same bushfires section of our AgVic website. So that we know there's a lot of work to do for everybody. Please be safe.
Many thanks for the update, Lee. Obviously, we understand that we've got some utilities that are under pressure, and we've got some power outages. AusNet are here today to provide us with an update, and we'll leave them to give us their best information at the time, knowing that this is a very challenging time and tricky for everyone. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. As you've heard, it is challenging and it's dynamic. The fire keeps changing and it keeps moving, and we face the same challenges as everyone else. One of our biggest issues is gaining access. As you've heard, it needs to be safe for our crew to get into these areas, and currently in most areas we haven't been able to get into because it's an active fire area. That said, as of about an hour ago, we have been given permission to get into some areas in Longwood, so we are sending in assessors now. But as you've heard, it's not an immediate fix. This will take time. As roads open, as areas become safe, we will be able to access those areas. But we have a step process as well. We have to first inspect the damage to see what damage is done. Often we have to patrol the whole line to make sure there's nothing else damaged or issues along the power line that could cause further damage once we turn the power back on and take more people out. So we have to do a pretty thorough investigation, assess the damage, work out what is damaged, what needs to be fixed, and then mobilise our crews. We do have about 200 crew members in the area ready to mobilise. They are fixing a lot of our other outages because we don't just have outages from the bushfire, we also have a number of outages from the weather event due to our bushfire mitigation systems, which are put in place to stop further bushfires. So as of last night, we had 14,000 customers off. By this morning, it had changed dramatically to 44,000. As of an hour ago, we'd got a lot of people back on and we only had 21,000 off. As of a text message that I got just walking over here just then, it's down to 17,000. So we are restoring power in a lot of places as quickly as we can, but we have these challenges. So what's next? If you need any further information on fires, we have just set up a bushfire support phone number, and I'll read it out so it can be recorded. It's 1300 561 171. You can call them for all related matters, including compensation in the future. We do have compensation in place for major event days, which are in the event of a storm or a fire. So if you've experienced longer than 12 hours, you could be eligible for a claim. So if you call the bushfire support line or go down our website, you will find the details on how to make a claim. Also get information on the updates of our progress. We also have an app which is open to the public, and it's a mapping system, and it's called Outage Tracker. It was going to be shown on screen so you could navigate, or I'll help you navigate the system, but essentially you can type in your address or you can use it as a map and click on it, and it does show you the outage areas. I believe there's a big banner on there to say, you know, it is dynamic, it is changing. As you can see, it can change by thousands in an hour, but that's probably the most accurate mapping for the electricity system that we have, and they are itemised because our network is like a spider web, and we will have certain crews fixing certain areas which will be off one branch. So that will be a selected little power outage. So it can take a little bit to navigate to find your area. You can type in your postcode and your address, and you'll find that outage, and you'll get a bit of an understanding of where those power outages are. And just noting it is going to change dynamically. Thank you. Repeat the number for the bushfire support line? I sure can. So it's 1300 561 171. Great, thank you. Thank you.
My face. All right, thanks, folks. We're just about finished with our formal presentation parts of the agenda, and we do thank you for your patience. But the agenda was put together for us to provide you with the best information we could at the time and provide an update, as we said we would. Our last presenter today from Ambulance Victoria's Tash. She's going to give us an update on some really important health information, and we've left it to last intentionally, because there's some key messages in here that we really need you to heed and understand. So thanks very much.
So my name's Tash. I'm the local team manager here at the Seymour Ambulance branch. We've been working really hard over the last couple of days to ensure the safety of not only the community and our patients, but also our paramedics. So we've obviously got some paramedics that have been directly impacted by these fires, and ensuring their safety is of the utmost importance for us. Some of our paramedic branches have unfortunately had to be relocated to other areas due to the fire risk. So our response into the fire area is obviously directly impacted by this fire event. In a genuine life-threatening emergency, we may be able to deploy ambulances into the fire area, but we're having to assess each case individually and do our dynamic risk assessments to determine whether or not it is safe. So taking that into account, please listen to the warnings of the emergency services about returning home, because if you return home, we cannot guarantee that we can get into you. So we have had people calling from inside the fire zone where we actually haven't been able to get to them. And we've had people waiting for hours and hours and hours just trying to come up with other plans, remembering that these other plans put our paramedics, our CFA volunteers and our police all at risk as well, while we come up with alternative plans to try and get people out. For the people that are watching that are still in the fire zone, if you do have a genuine life-threatening emergency, please still call us. We will do absolutely everything we can to get to you, but like I said, we cannot guarantee it. Our greatest health risk at the moment during all of this is we're currently worried about people with chronic and ongoing respiratory conditions, heart disease, older people, younger people, and anyone affected by smoke or extreme heat. So everyone, really, let's be honest, at this point in time. So please reach out for help and assistance early. Please don't wait until you have deteriorated, because like I said, it could be hours before we get into you. So if you are affected, we need to know about it early so that we can come up with alternative plans to potentially get you out. Just want to remind everyone that we do have alternative services if ambulances can't get into you or it's not a genuine life-threatening emergency. Remembering that we've got the Victorian Virtual Emergency Department and Nurse on Call, which are all aware of what's happening in our area at the moment, and are hopefully going to come up with alternative plans if we can't get ambulances in. For the people watching at home in the fire area at the moment, Alexandra Urgent Care and Yea Urgent Care Centre are still open. So if we can't get into you, but you're able to find your way there, we can have direct contact with them to organise care and evacuate people if required. Please remember, stay hydrated. Don't go home until it's safe to do so, until emergency services tell you that it's safe to do so, because we can't guarantee that we will get to you. Stay safe, everybody, and thanks for your time.
Folks, just before we do go to questions, Daniel's here from Telstra with a bit of an update for us. And again, the situation remains fluid, very much like our power companies, but hopefully some good news coming your way.
Thank you. Thank you. Look, probably much of the same challenges we're facing as what AusNet suggested, so I won't go right over that. The other thing I will add, that we're managing, a national network at the moment and got multiple incidents across Vic, let alone the cyclone that's crossing Queensland at the moment and things like that. So just another thing to throw in. But I was just going to quickly give a really high-level update of some of the stuff that's going on with the network here and over the hill. But if people have got sort of specific questions or concerns, I'm going to hang around for a bit after this, so come and see me and I can try my best to provide some more information. So I'll just start by speaking about sort of this side of the fire, the Longwood end. We had fairly significant impact to Telstra mobiles the night before last and into yesterday, and there's a lot of work done to reinstate most of it. The likes of Mount Wombat, Crichton Hill, those locations. We do still have some issues at Longwood. We're getting in there this evening to do some work there, and hopefully I'm reasonably confident that Longwood will have their mobile connectivity back up as well. Across the fire ground, we haven't been able to access anything, so yeah, when we can, when it's safe, we'll get in there and make assessments and make plans to start the recovery through there. Over the other side, Yea, Alexandra, as we've heard a couple of times this evening, we've had issues. Comms have been up and down. Yea lost comms this morning. We have a crew in there now, and I believe the Yea mobiles will be reinstated. We've got a dodgy transmission link that also saw us lose Alex again today at some point. It should come back up as well. But I think for the next little while, we're going to see that a bit. The network's really fragile. We're doing our best to keep things going, but we will see ups and downs and, connectivity issues. But I just wanted to mention, as AusNet did as well, we've got a dedicated disaster assistance line. So if you are having issues with connectivity or other Telstra type things, you might need your calls diverted to a different number. Billing issues, you might like to pause a service if you're not going to be able to use it for some time. Ring into the 1800 number, and there's a dedicated team there to support you. Number's 1800 888 888, so that's 1800 888 888. And the other thing we've done, Telstra has the ability to, we set up or invoke what we call assistant packages. So if you're a Telstra customer, you may have already got a text message just with some things we can do on your account. We top up your mobile data because you might be using that a bit more, and there's some other things that we'll do for you. That's automated. You don't have to subscribe or anything like that. We do that as certain areas are impacted by the fire. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That is the conclusion of our presenters this evening. I will again call out to EPA Victoria Police, Golden Valley Water, Emergency Recovery Victoria, people who are here to answer those questions. And as we lead into question time, ask yourselves, is it a question you want to ask publicly, or is it something you want looking for a more specific answer, tailored answer to, and you can talk to us after the meeting. So we will now go to question time. We have got some people with microphones hanging around, so if you've got a question, pop your hand up. We will wait, and please wait until you've got the microphone to speak. It's okay not to ask questions in the public forum. We are here to chat. That worked really well last time, but over to you. Thanks, folks.
I'll kick it off.
Wait, please wait. There's one behind you that's already beat you. Go ahead, up the back.
I listened earlier. You made mention of the fire misbehaving in the northwest.
I meant the northeast.
Northeast.
Yep.
I'm very interested to know what the immediate strategy is to combat that,
Yes.
and then what ongoing risks that might leave for us in the next 12 to 24 hours.
Sure. Thanks for the question. Our immediate strategy hasn't changed. It is actively suppressing the fire from the air and the ground when we can do that. And once we've secured the edge of the fire, to put a mineral earth break or greater break around it to stop it jumping and spreading again. So rapid, active response and suppression from the ground and from the air when possible. In the front.
Thank you. My question is on behalf of a lot of the farmers that have contacted me regarding feed for stock. It's probably a question for Ag Victoria. We have and I'm happy to give the details to you, but there's one farmer that's actually put up his hand as a depot for feed. I know there's a lot of stock feed that's being delivered to his property. They now need to try and get it out to stock. The other thing that Department of Ag, and I know people are concerned about this, potentially the Euroa cattle sale is not proceeding on Wednesday, which is putting stock that now have no feed, because that's now been burnt, at risk. So they're two issues that are affecting immediately the communities of Strathbogie that I would like to get some answers to, if possible, please. Thank you.
Yep, sure. So we are working towards coordinating a depot for fodder relief, so potentially even two each side of the mountain. Whatever forum people feel confident talking to, if that can then get fed through to me as liaison officer in the ICC, we will coordinate, and Agriculture Victoria coordinates the VFF effort as well. We've got a memorandum of understanding. So there will be details about that coming as to how people can donate, how people can get, and all that sort of stuff, and where it will be. So yes, that will be coming as we can. Euroa cattle sale, there are other options, so please talk to your agents. The Shepparton cattle sales are still going ahead, etc., etc. So yes, we will also be working closely with the control centre in terms of trying to get access in for trucks to truck animals out, and also for trucks to get in for feed. But as everyone who has driven through the lovely Strathbogies realises, the trees along the sides of the road are our biggest danger. So we can't get anyone in until it's safe.
So the Euroa cattle sale is not going ahead on Wednesday?
I don't know about that. That's Strathbogie Shire thing, but I'm sure they'll be trying to get things to stay as normal as possible, but I do understand that there's a number of animals that have evacuated to the Euroa sale yards area, so that's a council thing, and hopefully they'll post on their website or let people know.
Thanks, folks. That does lead us into a really interesting point, and that is this fire isn't under control, and it isn't contained in parts, and that ends part of it. So we need to continue to respect the potential impacts. We need to continue to respect the safety risks that fire presents. We saw over the last few days the cancellation of a number of public events on a safety basis. We need to be responsible. We need to understand the risks. That's a number of days away. We need to give some consideration. We recognise and understand the impact it would have, but we also recognise and understand the impact it would have if that place was under fire at the same time. So there is a balancing act. We are very well connected with the municipalities and the Incident Control Centre. Those sorts of questions we will have conversations with, and there are representatives from council who we've had some of those with already. So we'll continue to do that. And the message is we'll work together to work out the best outcome and the safest outcome. Question over here, thanks.
I wonder if you could help. We live in the Shire of Murrindindi, and our property has been affected, but our house still exists, so we understand. At some point, there must be presumably a protocol in place of steps to be taken to get people back in.
Yes.
Everything from clearing 5 kilometres of road to get there.
Yes.
Presumably, if the house had been made safe by firefighters, they could easily have been using fire retardants and all sorts of things. At what point would we begin to understand all these protocols, all these potential dangers, perhaps, that still remain there?
Sure. Thanks for the question, and a good one, and it leads on from my description earlier. Part of the impact assessment process looks at the condition and the impact on the property and the surrounding infrastructure that it might rely on. And then there's a secondary assessment that works through how that comes back together. Once we've done the initial assessment on the roads, and at the same time our initial impact assessment teams have started the process, we managed to get through a number on Thursday evening, before yesterday.
How is that prioritised? Because there must be certain things that are much more important than our property.
No. So really, really simply, we recognise the importance of minimising impact to community members. The question was, how is it prioritised? Because our question asker thought that he wasn't as important as many other things. We're here to tell you that everybody's important. We do look to ensure access through arterial roads. We do look to restore critical infrastructure. We do look to ensure these things are done at the same time and concurrently with the assessments. So as soon as we've got that information, we can get it back to you. And as those roads open, we adjust the traffic management point. So Victoria Police and ourselves work every time looking at the traffic management levels. Emergency services only, emergency services and the make safe part, and the second part of that second level is residents back. So you are quite high up on the list.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We didn't quite in that way, but...
You know, I'm trying to reassure you that we've got your interest at heart, but it will take us some time, and we will need to be thorough, because the last thing we need is a secondary impact after you've survived a fire.
Thank you.
Thank you. 2 more questions, one here, thanks.
As you were just saying about the slowly clearing across the board as you move to checkpoints, where is that listed to see how far they're moving daily?
Thank you. So contained within our warnings is an update on traffic management points, but also the Vic Traffic app. Amanda, have I got that right? The Vic Traffic app, Vic Roads are belted in with us as well, and if you've got connectivity, you can have a look at that, and that will shrink the road closure as we move them in. We intentionally start big because we don't know how big the fire is going to be, and we shrink it to the affected area.
Yeah, I was just on your website and was looking at it, and towards my direction, there's only like key roads in red. It doesn't say the main road towards Highlands. Where it's currently blocked off. It's not saying it's blocked off.
Okay, thanks for that. We will make sure that we connect Victoria Police, Vic Traffic and the councils to ensure that's updated. So thanks for letting us know. We'll make sure that's picked up.
Is that on? Your map on Thursday was very accurate. It's pretty much where we're at now. Given the wind change tomorrow, I'm just interested to know, I know the wind's not as severe, I know it's not a catastrophic day, and it may not be quite so magnificent as it is there, but if you wouldn't mind, and if you're brave enough, to give us some indication of what a change to the south and at the rate it'll be tomorrow, what that might look like to your pink map.
The answer is I'm brave, and I normally would, but I haven't been involved directly operationally today. So I can't stand here and speculate for you. It would be irresponsible of me to do that. We've got teams in place now working on that. I couldn't do that with any confidence, and I certainly don't want to mislead anybody. So unfortunately, that's not something I can do for you this afternoon.
I don't want to introduce a negative element here, but like many other people, I expect have left their properties unlocked so that the CFA can get in, gates open and so on. I have a concern about theft, and I'm just wondering whether there has been any of that happening.
Inspector?
Hi, I'm Acting Inspector Darren Huffis. I'm the Mitchell and Strathbogie Area Commander at the moment. There's no reports of thefts that we're aware of at the moment, but being aware, we also have roving patrols as well as our roadblocks and that for that very purpose and for that security. And yeah, so we have things in place for that. We're aware and we are patrolling.
Thank you. Down the back.
I'm asking a question on behalf of my actual boss. He wants to know, as a business owner, he has heard that in Alexandria there has been some people being able to go back into their business and start preparing and stuff. As we're actually one of the essential services, like we own the only supermarket in the town of Alexandria, yay. When can we get people back in and delivering these essential services, like our butchers to get in and cut the meat and stuff like that?
Really good question that we'll need to take back through the Incident Control Centre. And from a timing perspective, that will depend on a number of things. One, road access. Two, access to services and restoration of power and water. Those sorts of things that are necessary for the functioning of your operations.
We've actually got generators, and the issue we're having at the moment, which I have spoken to Jake today, is we're needing to get diesel to those generators. For myself personally, I manage the Yay Foodworks, and we are running low on diesel, and we are offering power in that to assist the community.
What you've done is taken it the right direction through the municipal liaison person at the Incident Control Centre. They're bolted in with us, they're in attendance there with us. That's the best way that we can address those individual requirements that you've brought up. So please continue to utilise those services through council and their connections with us to make that happen. Thank you. There's one down the back, if I may, please.
Claudia James from Mitchell Shire. I want to know what sort of psychological support that I'm sure a lot of people here are going to need. You know, the sense of loss and what people have witnessed, particularly if they've never experienced fire before. I'm sure there'll be many people that need to be helped, and I was just wondering what access they would have. Thank you.
Thank you, and a really good question. I'm just referring to our community newsletter, which I was going to mention as well. If you didn't get one when you came in, please grab a hold of it. For those online, we'll see if we can get it uploaded with the live stream to make sure that that's there. There is one tweak to it. Hopefully in there are a range of services that people can access, but more importantly, at relief centres where there's an immediate need, we have our chaplaincy services and our wellbeing services here to support people through their immediate emotional times and then connect them with future services down the track as people work through the wellbeing and emotional impact of this event. So here immediately, numbers available for ongoing assistance and support. All right, folks, I do think we're close to the end of questions, so if I may wrap up with just a few quick points. The first one is the newsletter, which I've mentioned. There has been one change to that, which is the location of the City of Whittlesea Emergency Relief Centre, which is now at the Whittlesea Community Activity Centre at 57 to 61 Laurel Street. So if people were using that for online, from the online perspective, please note that change. The second point is, as we've mentioned, our traffic management points continue to be reviewed on an ongoing basis every day. And we will do our best to shrink them to the size they need to be, to change the access levels, to get people back as soon as we possibly can, but safely. So just remember, we're working actively to get that done. And the other thing to mention too, and I acknowledge the folks here that have been displaced and are using this as their relief centre for accommodation. Please understand we do have some people here, folks. If you're visiting the centre, be respectful of those that are here and residing here. So just as you do go, remember the respect and that empathy that would be appreciated as we do leave the facility. And just in wrapping up, folks, just a plug for those online services and apps, Vic Emergency, Vic Traffic, and our warnings. We continue to provide warnings in a timely manner. The information in them, when they're updated, is generally slightly different or slightly more than the last one. Please don't get warning fatigue. Please stay with us on this journey. We'll do our best for you. We need to really ask that the information we provide you is well considered and you make some good decisions. Thanks very much for attending this evening. We look forward to chatting after. Thank you.